Well, hello and welcome. Sorry we're getting started a little late. Sometimes things just don't go according to plan, but I am super excited to be here with you today, sharing some information about how to shift your home environment or create a brand new home environment in a way that's going to positively affect you, your little ones, and eventually, ultimately, the whole world. So, um, I would like to start by telling you a little bit about who I am. My name is Olinda Smith, and I am a mother of two. My daughter Aria is 7, and I have a 15-month-old as well. I'm a certified Montessori early childhood teacher, and I just love, love, love this age group of 0 to 6. It's such an important time. I'm also a Simplicity Parenting Family Life Coach and really assist parents in making small, doable changes that help their really everything, but help their relationships and their connection with their children by shifting to sort of a lifestyle of simplicity. I'm a yoga teacher for children and adults, and I also do a lot of writing, including for Montessori Life magazine. So here we are, and we're going to dive in, especially since we got started late. We're going to rest the work that we do today on 3 foundational beliefs. I'm going to just kind of contextualize this work before giving you some real, clear, concrete, doable suggestions, moving from babyhood to toddlerhood. But I want to make sure to put this in perspective for you. So the first foundational belief that we have is that the environment impacts well-being. And what I mean by environment here is the home environment. So that's everything your baby, toddler, child comes into contact with in your home, what they see, smell, hear, taste, can touch and move. What's in that environment has a critical effect on your child, so much so that in the Montessori framework, we consider the environment on equal footing with the teacher and the child when we're looking at impacts on learning and the impacts for your little one to be able to settle into themselves and grow into the healthiest version of themselves. So if we had more time, we could unpack that more. But for now, we'll leave that. We are believing that the home environment is hugely impactful. Your choices and what you buy, what you have, who you buy it from affect you, your child, and of course the world. And so ultimately, this work has ripples out into the wider community. And when we're looking at all these impacts, one mantra that we always have is less is more. And again, we could look at the science and the philosophy behind that a little more if we had more time. And hopefully in another venue, we can dig into that more. But for now, we're knowing that that is where we're coming from. So here, I'm going to look at what can you expect from a consciously prepared environment. The first thing that you can expect is that your environment is going to decrease overstimulation. If we are feeling overstimulated, it is very hard to concentrate, to learn, and to feel centered enough to really know ourselves. This is true for us as adults, and it's doubly, triply true for children and babies. It sometimes can be hard to tell when a baby is overstimulated. So things to look for is that a really young baby will look away and not want to look at whatever it is that you're trying to show them. It's too much. They look away. Sometimes they'll just fall all the way asleep if the overstimulation is like all around them. In an older infant or toddler, what you'll often see is that overstimulation will really increase meltdown times. So they'll have more of them and they'll be more intense. We want to save our kids that trouble. The consciously prepared environment will provide opportunities for your little ones to practice the skills that they need. We know that a home full of books will lead to higher levels of literacy. And in the same way, a home full of other things that will help them practice other skills will help them master those skills because they have access to practice. So in these young years, we're looking at development of visual abilities. We're looking at gross and fine motor skills. and a bunch of other things. But we want to make sure our environment has those things for them to practice. This is one of my favorite things. A consciously prepared environment can help decrease frustration and conflict, because if you make a space that is really an invitation for your child to explore and the boundaries are set by the space, then you have to spend a little less time boundary setting, and that leads to less conflict. Also, if things are accessible and made for them, there's less frustration and more confidence from them. We, of course, are going to be setting boundaries, but it will be easier for them to learn how to respect those boundaries if it's not a boundary at every turn. This environment is going to increase joy of exploration. It will help develop concentration, which is key because concentration is the thing that helps children academically and personally in a very deep way. This environment also helps make parenting easier because, like we said, if all these other things are true, your job can have more ease and joy in it. And when you are more easeful and joyful, then that also has a positive impact for your child. So let's get into the specifics here. With your new babies, when they're just arriving, you want to make sure that the space is a gentle space. You want to think about everything: light, sound, smell, and make sure that something in the environment is not overstimulating them. When our babies were little, we always had evening music concerts for them. So music can be a beautiful element. We just want to do it consciously and make time for silence and make time for conversation as well. But when we're talking about development and, if you will, the academic side of what's going to be in your environment for your little pre-grasping babies, newborn to about 4 months, really the meat of that work is in the mobiles, because what they're developing the most here is their visual abilities. There are classic Montessori mobiles that really are designed to meet your baby at each turn of their development. They engage the baby by helping them develop their visual abilities, like tracking and focusing. But they also really interest the baby so that the baby starts to develop concentration even this young. I love these mobiles. They're really developed in such an intelligent way so that your baby can start exploring shape and color and light. They have a clear progression that follows what's happening physiologically with your baby. And we have them in our newborn kit, and I stand by them as really wonderful tools. If you are really crafty and you have a lot of time and you wanted to study and learn what those developmental markers are, you could make your own mobiles. So they don't have to be the Montessori mobiles if you have the time and space and inclination to make them in that same progression. You can also really involve your family members, especially older children, cousins, or siblings, in making additional mobiles to thread in and rotate through with these mobiles themselves. It can be a really lovely way for an older child to connect to a younger one. One thing to note is that these mobiles are your baby's work, so they're not for decoration. A lot of the mobiles that are available right now commercially look lovely to the adult who's gazing at them from the side, but your baby is looking at them from underneath. So if you make some of your own mobiles, or as you're evaluating mobiles that you see around, look at them from underneath. See it from your baby's perspective. Is it interesting? Is it overstimulating? Does it do too much? And is it actually following the development of the baby? When you hang this, you want it to be about 10 inches from your baby's face so that they can really focus and see the baby. Not the baby, the mobile. Let's see. We always had one over the diaper changing table just for the baby to do something while they're getting their diaper changed. But we also had them over our babies in another space in the house that was more a workstation, if you will. And that place was free of the hustle and the bustle of the diaper change, basically. You can rotate them through and change them weekly to increase interest. What's important in this environment is also you, your attention, your chatting, your loving gaze is really one of the most important, if not the most important element. Then your baby grows, and we get to this next stage where they can move their arms really consciously. They can start to hold and eventually grasp and pass things. This brings in the tactile mobiles, which are one of my favorites. They are so fun. Basically, this is hanging something far enough away from your baby that they're not going to get tangled in it, but close enough that when they move their arms, they might hit it. And you can see here a nice way to set it up is with your baby on the floor so that they can track the room. And also, here we have a little baby gym hanging a few things down. I would not put 4 things down. I would put just one thing for the baby to look at and play with and explore, and then rotate it through really regularly. When our littles were babies, we also, we had a few specific things, but then you can really go to town. So like we put a lot of Christmas decorations and really anything like, what if we hung this on for Aria or River? And what I found is that at first they were just hitting randomly, and then they start to get that cause and effect. And then they're really training their hand-eye coordination, and all kinds of gross and fine motor movements are coming into play. It is incredibly fun and just such wonderful work at this age. Let's see. Another element of this age group is having a mirror. You can for sure do this earlier, and some people do it as soon as the babies are born. But the mirror allows them to track the room and to start to investigate their own faces and start to feel that cause and effect of their movement in the mirror. As they continue to develop, you're going to just pass them stuff to be able to feel. And of course, there's, this baby has a block in their mouth. So of course, toys are wonderful, but you also want to pass them real stuff. So if you're cooking, pass them a spatula. You're folding laundry, pass them a sock. As much as they can get their hands and mouths on to explore the world, the better. And again, you are a key environmental piece, probably the most important. Making sure that you have screen-free time to focus and chat with your little one is essential. Then the world changes and your baby gets to a place where they are moving. Montessori says that development is a series of rebirths, and certainly once your little one is moving, it feels like a rebirth, and the space has to be rebirthed as well. So here we want to have, again, yes spaces, spaces where the boundary is set by the space and not by the adult, to help your child have joyful, confident exploration. We also not only want to make sure everything's safe and okay for them to touch, but that it's accessible. So having nice low shelves, pulling everything to the front so that they can pick it up easily themselves. Even a crawler can get down there on those bottom shelves and pick those up. You want to have a maximum of 8 things, because believe it or not, having more than that can be overstimulating for the baby. And again, look at it from their perspective. Crawl around, watch them and see what they have trouble with, and see, can you assist them in making the space a space that invites independence. You want to have those yes toys. So we talked about toys that help them develop what they need to develop. You want to make sure that the things that are in their environment are doing that. And you want to make sure that things that are in their environment are not detracting. So you want to have low stim toys, low stimulation toys that are open-ended, that are beautiful, and you want to rotate them through. You're not just going to have only 8 toys. You're going to have a rotation system where they move through. Another element here is books. You want to have, again, 4 to 6 books front-facing, if you can, so that they can easily grasp and pick them. It's never too young to start reading books with your little one. And here we go again. You are the key key piece. And now, even if you're working outside of the home, making the time that you are with your baby really count by, again, turning off your screen, minimizing distractions, and just making it a mindfulness practice to be totally present with your little one. That time is golden. There is so much, well, I was going to say, this is a work in progress. It won't be perfect all the time. You'll get it into a groove, and then your child is going to grow and you're going to move it again. But the key is to follow the child, to watch them and see what the effect the space is going to be on and react to that. And if you're not sure where to go, look for information, look for support to help you, because we are in this together. Parenting is not a solo sport, it's a team sport. And there is so much to learn, and we would love to be part of your village. We offer regular webinars, some that are free to everyone, some that are free just to our members, but to really support you in your journey. And along with the kits that make it super easy, because they have all the things that we've just talked about in them, and then you can send them away from your house when you're done with them and on to the next family. But with each kit also comes written material by me, also to help support you in that moment of your parenting journey. I think now I'm going to stop. Oh, wait, let me see. I think I have one more slide here. I have some time for question and answers here in a second. I'm going to see if there are any. I'll be happy to answer them. And again, here, before we shift over to that, I wanted to let you know that to come join us for the webinars, we have a little more time to dig in a little more deeply. And we are offering this first month free with this tiny Prego code. Follow along with us, join us. We're happy to support you. Okay, I'm going to stop sharing now. And if we have any questions, I am happy to answer them. Just going to see here. There's no questions. Okay, well, thank you so much for joining us. That was a bit of a very quick run through all that information, but I hope it was helpful, and just wishing the best for each of you in your parenting journey.